2023 NEET. Okay, I have the paper with code F6, but as I have already discussed with you, that code doesn't matters that much. All the papers have the similar set of questions. They are just jumbled. Like the same question at question number 1 can be question number 7 in another set. So that's it. So today we will be discussing how many questions? Question number 1 to question number 25. Okay, let's start. So first of all, the first question says, in a LCR circuit, the inductance, capacitance, and resistance is given. Frequency and the resonance. Okay. Now, if you want to solve this question, first of all, as you all can clearly understand, this is a very, very easy question. It is asking me frequency at resonance. And there is a simple rule that at resonance, what happens? The capacitive reactance and inductive reactance are equal to one another. This is the basic condition for resonance. Okay. Now, if XL and XC are equal to one another, then what can I say? That XL, which is equals to omega L, and XC, which is equals to 1 by omega C, are equal to one another. Okay. And we also know that omega is equals to 2 pi frequency. Okay. So we are simply replacing the value of omega by 2 pi frequency, and we can easily get the value of frequency like this. This was a very, very easy question, we can say. Okay. Question number 2. The magnitude and the direction of the current in the following circuit is. So there is a circuit over here. I have one bigger battery, 10 volts, one smaller battery, 5 volts. So what should be the direction of current? So first of all, like, let's leave the magnitude part. Let's try to understand the direction. So this will be the direction of current due to the 10 volt battery, because this is of course positive and this is negative. And what will happen? This will be the direction of current due to the 5 volt battery. Okay, because over here positive and negative. But now clearly we know that 10 volts is bigger than 5 volts. So that's why the 10 volts will be a dominating one. And this is why this will be the right answer for the direction. I'm not talking about magnitude now. Direction. This will be the right answer. Okay. Quite simple. So now direction will be A to B. Yep. So A to B. This will be the direction. Second thing is, what do we want to calculate? The value of current. So if I want to calculate the value of current, first of all, I need to know the total resistance in this circuit. So the total resistance in this circuit, R total, is equals to how much? 7 ohms plus 2 ohms plus 1 ohms, which is equals to 10 ohms. Okay. So of course, what will I use? I will use the current is equals to what? Voltage by resistance formula, of course. And voltage is equals to what? 10 minus 5, because when two batteries are like when they are placed opposite to one another, opposite means like positive with positive, negative with negative, so they actually what? Kind of cancel out each other. So 10 minus 5 divided by 10, which is 5 by 10. So without a doubt, what we will get? The answer will be 0.5. So final answer will be the 0.5 ampere of current from A to B through E. Question number 3. If the galvanometer does not show any deflection in the circuit shown, then the value of R is. Now, this is actually a good question. I would not say this is an easy one. This is slightly different. They are saying that there is no reading in galvanometer. It actually means that the current in this particular branch is going to be what? 0. Okay. Now, to have that, what can I say? First of all, for no reading galvanometer, the potential across it will be what? Same. This is the most important line. If you don't know it, I will just highlight this. Potential will remain same. That is, if I will calculate the current through the 400 ohms, okay, So it will be what? 10 volts minus 2 volts divided by 400. This will be the current across the 400. And if I want to calculate the current across the R, then what will happen? It will be VR by R. So listen to me very carefully what I'm trying to say over here. Yeah. So basically, when I'm saying that there is no current in this part, then we can say that the potential here and potential here will be same, which is equals to what? 2 volts. So this branch will also have a 2 volts of voltage, and of course resistance is R. So I will do what? 2 by R, and the value of current is 1 by 50. So because as you can see that the current going in this branch, let's say this is IR, will be the same current going in this branch. Why? Because the current in this branch is actually equals to 0. That is the main reason. Okay, so this is very, very, very important and a tough question, I would say. Let's move ahead. Question number 4. The temperature of a gas is minus 50 degrees Celsius. To what temperature the gas should be heated so that the RMS speed is increased by 3 times? Okay. So for this question, again, this is a straightforward question. The Vrms is directly proportional to the root times of the temperature. So if I will do what? V1 by V2, it will be root T1 by T2. And finally, what will happen? That, that if I want the speed to be increased by 3 times, oh, is it saying 3 times? Yeah. To what temperature? Okay, so the wordings over here are not very clear. If you will actually see, a lot of us will actually go with this that, oh, right now if I have the velocity v, then the velocity is getting converted into 3 times the v. No, it is increased. Read it properly. It is increased by 3 times, which is, if it is already v, we are increasing it by 3 times, and then this is the new version. So if someone will make a mistake, so they will make a mistake that rather than taking the new velocity as 4v, they will take it as 3v. Okay, this is the mistake you actually can do, although this question is easy. V by 4v is equals to 223 by the new temperature. And when we will solve it, we will get the answer. Okay. Now, question number 5. The ratio of radius of gyration of a solid sphere and radius r about its own axis to the radius of gyration of the thin hollow sphere is of same mass, and radius about its axis is. Okay, so it's asking you the radius of gyration. So when I talk about the radius of gyration for solid sphere, it will be equals to 2m r square by 5m. How are we getting it, by the way? So we actually have radius of gyration formula mk square, and the what do we call, if I talk about moment of inertia for the solid sphere, so it will be what? 5 by 2 by 5 mr square, which is equals to mk square. So what will happen? M and m will get cancelled out, which is happening at the same time over here, and we will see that the value of k is equals to what? Root 2 by 5 r square. So we have the value of radius of gyration for solid sphere, we have the value of radius of gyration for the hollow sphere, and we just have to take the ratio. This is a kind of question where you need to remember. Okay, I would just write this down, that moment of inertia for the solid sphere is equals to what? 2 by 5 mr square. Moment of inertia for the hollow sphere is equals to what? 2 by 3 mr square. And of course, you will put them on, and the formula for radius of gyration in general formula is mk square. Okay. Question number 6. A Cartan engine has an efficiency of 50% when its source is at temperature 327 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the sink is. Okay. So this is a question from the Carnot engine. Yep. So if we want to calculate the value of efficiency, so the formula for efficiency is this: 1 minus temperature of sink divided by temperature of source into 100. Straight away formula based question. Why? because as you can see, the temperature of the source is already given. Yep. The value of efficiency eta is also given. So I can put these things in the question. Yep. And I can put 327 over here, and the efficiency over here, and we can easily calculate the temperature for the sink. So this is again a very, very easy question based totally on what? The formula. Next is, a bullet is fired from a gun at the speed of 280 meters per second in a 30 direction 30. Okay, so we are actually firing a bullet like this, 30 degree. The maximum height attained by the bullet is. So again we have the formula based question, that is the maximum height achieved by a body during a projectile motion. This is a projectile motion based question, is equals to u square sine square theta by 2g. What is u? The initial speed of the body is the u, whereas theta is the angle with which we have thrown the body. That's it. So if you know the formula, you can do this question very easily. Next, the electric dipole is placed at an angle 30 degree with the electric field of intensity. Okay. It experiences a torque of 4 Newton meter. Calculate the magnitude of the charge of the dipole. Again, a very straightforward and a very easy question. So it is asking you the value of charge. So how will we do it? We can actually go for the reverse methodology. If you don't know it, no problem. But torque is equals to what? PE sine theta. Now the value of torque is given, the value of electric field is given, and the angle is given in the question. And we also know that the dipole moment is actually equals to what? Charge times the separation between the two charges. Okay. So charge into separation, again separation is also given. We have the electric field, we have the sine 30, we can easily get the answer. Next is reason assertion based question. Photovoltaic Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected. Photovoltaic devices can convert optical radiation into electricity. Exactly, this is 100% correct. Why? What are photovoltaic devices? You can actually talk about what? A solar cell. When we talk about a solar cell, so what is it doing? It is taking the energy of the sun and then converting it into electricity. This is the work of a solar cell. Second is Zener diode, is designed to operate under the reverse bias in the breakdown voltage. Yep. So usually a diode is used in a forward bias, but reverse bias diode is the Zener diode. Why? Why is it used? Because it gives us a very sharp value of current or sharp increase in the value of current after a certain breakdown point. Okay. So both the statements are correct and they do not have any link with one another. So yeah. Fourth question, right answer. Fourth option, sorry. Next is the errors in measurement which arise due to unpredictable fluctuations in temperature and voltage supply are known as random errors. Okay, this is again a straight up question. The ratio of frequencies of fundamental harmonic produced by an open pipe to that of a closed pipe. So when we talk about the open pipe fundamental frequency, so frequency for open, it is actually equals to what? Velocity by 2 times the length of the pipe. Frequency for the closed one is velocity divided by 4 times the length of the tube. Okay. So of course, open pipe, closed pipe, we will take the ratio and the answer is 2:1. Quite simple. The net magnetic flux through a closed surface is always 0. Why? Because if any surface you take, let's say, for example, this is a surface you are actually taking. Magnetic flux means the magnet should be inside, North Pole and South Pole should be inside. If I consider the North Pole kind of a positive charge and South has a negative charge, So you can clearly say that the total charge inside the surface is minus q plus q, which is equals to what? 0. So if charge is 0, electric field is 0. Okay, this is sorry. If charge is 0, then what? Flux is 0, because flux is equals to what? Charge by epsilon naught. Although this charge is slightly different, I agree. This is a different charge, but at the end method will remain same, because yeah, here it is written, the monopoles cannot exist in a magnet. See, a single positive charge and a single negative charge can exist, but a single north pole and a single south pole can never exist. Okay. Yeah. Next is work function of cesium, potassium, and sodium are 2.14, 2.30, 2.75. The energy at which they start ejecting electrons. If the incident electromagnetic radiation has an incident energy of 2.20, which of these? So it's quite simple. The answer will be what? Cesium only. Why? So as you can see, the energy given by us or me, let's say this is kind of the energy given by us, energy given by me, is clearly more than the work function of the cesium. Yep. So without a doubt, this will undergo photoelectric effect, but energy given by us or me is actually less than the work function of potassium or work function of sodium. So because they have a smaller work function, or sorry, bigger work function, they will not eject electrons. Question 14. The minimum wavelength of X-rays produced by an electron accelerated through a potential difference V volts is. Okay, so this is a good one. But when we actually talk about what? The formula for wavelength. So we all know that energy is equals to hc by lambda. So lambda can be written as hc by E. Now energy is kind of work done which is equal to charge into potential. And if charge is electron, so it will be EV. So I can easily replace the value of energy by what? EV. Now, as you can clearly say that the relationship between wavelength and potential are inversely proportional. Question number 15. A 12 volt 60 watt lamp is connected to the secondary of a step down transformer whose primary is connected to 220 volts. Assuming that the transformer is ideal. So this is the most important part, everyone. Whenever it is written that the transformer is ideal, it means that the output power and input power are equal to one another. Yeah, exactly. So output power and input power are equal to one another, which is when we talk about secondary or primary. So VI for secondary, VI for primary, we already have the values. So we can just put all the values. What is the voltage? Yeah. So if I talk about the value of output power, so output power is 60 watts. And for input power, I do not know the value of power directly, but I know that V input is 220 volts. I input, I do not know. I can calculate it by putting it into the formula. Light travels a distance x in time t1 in air and 10x in time t2 in another denser medium. What is the critical angle for this medium? Now, this is again a good question, not a very easy question, I would say. This is a good question. Now, it says that the speed of light in air v1 is x by t1. Simple formula, speed is equals to what? Distance upon time. In medium, v2 is equals to what? 10x by t2, again, distance upon time. But when we actually talk about the critical angle, so if you know it, well and good. If you don't know it, keep it in mind. The sine theta, critical angle, is 1 by refractive index. Either you can use refractive index, which is now refractive index is equals to what? V1 by V2. So when you will put the value of refractive index over here, you will find that sine theta depends upon velocity of 2 by velocity of 1. So this was not a very easy question. Of course, not a very tough question as well. Next, a metal wire has mass of 0.4 plus minus 0.002, which is error. So it is we have a error in measurement for mass, radius, length. The maximum possible percentage error in the measurement of the density will be nearly. What is the formula for density? It is equals to mass per unit volume. Volume can be written as pi r square h. So volume of a cylinder is pi r square h, or L, the length is given as L. So whenever you have a something like this, we can convert it into like this. If you know it, well and good. If you don't know it, I will write the formula. Let's say if x is equals to 4, or yeah, a square b by c cube. So you can say that the percentage error or the fractional error in x is equals to 2 times delta a by a plus delta b by b plus 3 times delta c by c. Okay. So this is the same thing we are doing over here. The m is delta m by m, r 2 times delta r by r, and L is delta L by L. Okay, quite simple. Put all the values. Errors are already given in the question: 0 0.02, 0 0.01, 0 0.02. Put it and you will get your answer. Next is, in Young's double slit experiment, two statements are given below. If screen is moved away from the plane of the slits, angular separation of the fringes remains constant. Exactly. When we talk about the angular separation, the formula is lambda by d. And as you can clearly see, it is independent of capital D, which is the screen distance. So if it does not depends upon the screen distance, the statement 1 is true. When we talk about statement 2, if the monochromatic source is replaced by another monochromatic source of larger wavelength, the angular separation of the fringes increases. Okay. So when we actually talk about what the wavelength, so let's keep it in mind. Yeah. It is independent of D, but depends upon what? Lambda. So as you can see, the question is saying what replaced by, it says separation will decrease. No. As you can clearly see that the theta is directly proportional to lambda. So if you will use a bigger wavelength, you will have a bigger angular separation. Okay. So it should not decrease, it should actually increase. That's why this is false. The half-life of a radioactive substance is 20 minutes. In how much time the activity of the substance drops to 1/16th? Okay. This is a very like regular question. You might have done this question on your own when you were preparing for half-life. Okay. So half-life is given as 20 minutes. Now, when we actually talk about the formula, what formula can we use over here? So multiple ways are, like, there is one method like this. You can also do it like what? That yeah. So what can we say? That R is equals to R naught 1 by 2 to the power what? Like T by capital T. We can use this formula as well. Exactly, this is used over here. R by R naught can be written as 1 by 16. Why? Because now the particle is remaining only the 16th of its original value. So let's say initially there were 16 atoms. So right now there are only one atom. Okay. So 1/16th, 1 by 2, T to T divided by 20. What is 20? 20 is the half-life, 20. We'll put it over here. And now you can compare the powers. So 4 comparing to T by 20, and final answer is 80 minutes. Okay. Although we can also do it like this, because it's saying 1/16th of this value. So we can say, if let's say initially we had n number of atoms. So after one half-life, we will be left with n naught by 2. After second half-life, we will be left with n naught by 4. And after the third half-life, we will be left with what? N naught by 16. Yeah. So from here to here, how much time is it taking? 20 minutes. Then from here to here, how much? 20 minutes. Okay. Then, okay, one more step will be there. No, sorry. So it will be what? N naught by 8 and then n naught by 16. So it takes 20 minutes to go from here to here and 20 minutes to go from here to here. So overall, how much time is it taking? It is taking what, 80 minutes. You can also use this as kind of a brute force type of hit and trial kind of a solution. Now, the equivalent capacitance of the system. This is a very easy question. I consider everyone is able to do this one. They are in what? Parallel. Yeah. And then the result of that is actually in series with this one. Yeah. So when they are in parallel, you can directly add them, and 6 and 3 will be treated like this. Very simple. Resistance of the carbon resistor determined from the color codes is this. The color of the third band must be, okay, this is a good one. If you actually see this one, usually we write it like what, 22 into 10 to the power 3, because each thing over here has a proper value. So this also represents a color, this also represents a color, and this also represents a color. Now, as you can see, the code is 3, and this is the third band. So this represents the third band, and 3 is the number. So the answer will be what? Orange. So if you don't know this, I will just write this: B. Roy of Great Britain, so on. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So black, brown, red, orange. Orange has the color code of 3. Fine. An AC source is connected to a capacitor C due to decrease in its operating frequency. What? An AC source is connected to a capacitor C, okay, fine, due to decrease in its operating. Yeah. So due to the change in frequency, what will actually change? So we all know the formula for the current or displacement current is sine omega t. Yeah. Basically, I is equals to I naught sine omega t, where I naught is actually what? Voltage divided by resistance. Resistance is what? XC. And XC can be replaced as 1 by omega C, which will come out what? V naught omega C. So finally, as you can see that if you are due to decrease in its operating frequency. So if you will actually decrease the frequency, the value of current will also decrease. Okay, very important. Question 23, a vehicle travels half the distance with speed v and remaining with the t2v, average speed is. So again, this is a kind of question where you do not have the total distance, total time, you don't have both of them. So you can consider the total distance to be s. So half of it covered with v, another half of it covered with 2v. So the average velocity will be what? Average speed will be total distance, which is equals to what? S divided by total time. So how much time during this? It is S by 2V. And how much time during this? S by 4V. Yeah. So we can actually do it like this, or you can use this method as well. I personally prefer this one. That is, we are simply taking the total distance and total time, and we are taking the ratio. Question 24. The amount of energy required to form a soap bubble of radius 2 centimeters from a soap solution is nearly. A very, very good question now. Why? I would say usually people kind of ignore these topics. And because they ignore these topics, they are not able to do these questions. So keep it in mind. This is a question for the energy. So what do you actually require? We can say that surface tension or surface energy, if I want to calculate, I will write the formula. Surface energy is equals to what? It is equals to sigma into the increase in area. Sigma is surface tension, which is already given in the question, and increase in area. So I should write delta A. Yeah. So if we actually calculate it, So one very important thing over here, it is a soap solution. So because it is actually a soap solution, it has air inside it as well, air outside it as well. So how many free surfaces are there? There are two free surface. And because there are two free surface, we will multiply it with what? Two. This is the, like, this is, again, I'm not saying tough question, but these are kind of things people tend to ignore while preparing for exam. Do not ignore it. So now surface tension 2 and change in area. So yeah, sigma into 2 into delta A. And that's it. After that, the question is easy. Last question for today. Venturi meter works on the principle of what? Bernoulli's principle. Such a easy question. Okay. Yeah. So that's it for today. Although this paper is not over yet, but we will complete it like by taking some sessions. Till then, bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye.